At UMC, access to your health care is only a call away. Dial 74-NURSE for free, instant medical advice from experienced and trusted UMC nurses, 24 hours a day. Learn more at umchealthsystem.com.
And welcome in everyone to RedRaiders.com. I'm Zach Long, this is Krista Pirtle, and it's time for a topics discussion on the state of Texas Tech football as we get you ready, of course, for the big one on Saturday night in Lubbock between Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Krista, essentially a knockout game in the Big 12 title race.
Absolutely. It's the first exhibition game, if you will, of the top 5 teams in the Big 12 vying for that title, and it's a sold-out game as well for the Red Raiders, so it's going to be crazy.
Should be a heck of an environment inside Jones AT&T Stadium. As for today's episode, we want to do something a little different, look at some video here and something that's been pretty amazing, and that's the progression of freshman quarterback Davis Webb. Of course, doesn't win the job to start the year, disappointed in that. A lot of people would have folded essentially, maybe taken on a bad attitude. Not the case for Davis Webb. Unfortunately, Baker Mayfield goes down with an injury. Webb steps in and he has done everything in his power to put a stranglehold on that starting quarterback job.
Absolutely, and we're going to look through some clips here in a second and show how you see he's scrambling and throwing off his back foot at the beginning of the season, and now he's becoming more poised in the pocket.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the clips, and let's go back to early in the year, Krista.
Awesome. We're going back to his first game, which was SFA, where he threw way too many interceptions, 3 interceptions to be exact. And this first one, you see him, he just doesn't hit it right. He throws behind him. He needs to lead these receivers on, especially Bradley Marquez, Eric Ward, Jakeem Grant. They're all speed guys. But then you have Jason Morrow, who will reach anywhere with his big long arms and catch whatever he throws to him. But then also Webb, when talking about him in the battle with Michael Brewer or with Baker Mayfield, Coach Kingsbury always said that those two were more mobile. They could extend the plays more so than Davis Webb could. Absolutely. And if you look at the rush yards compared between Baker and Davis, it's by 100 at least. And so when you look at this run that he has against Texas State, it's big because you don't see him extending plays. You see him handing it off or passing the ball for 400 yards like he has for 2 games. And this is just a big play for him to step up as a freshman to go and convert that third down.
Yeah, big third down play right here, 3rd and long, and this is a gutsy call. You got to get to the edge and you got to get to the stick, and that right there is a great job of doing it, and he gets himself out of bounds and keeps himself safe. Absolutely.
That was a great play for that game, but then you see him panic again. This was his 2nd game, but actually his 3rd game, but watch him here. He just hits it and he's panicking, he's scrambling, doesn't know where to throw to, and usually you would think they would just chunk it out of bounds. Maybe he was aiming for that, but he hits that guy and he takes it back to the house.
That's one of those throws that Cliff Kingsbury will describe as one you would like to have back, but as long as you recognize that, that's a key component.
Absolutely, and a lot of people were comparing Baker Mayfield to Johnny Manziel, especially with Cliff Kingsbury and the freshman aspect. Check out this play that he has that, as you say, it's Manziel-like, and the fact that he just chunks it, sends up a prayer, and Sadell Foster is there to bring it home.
A calculated prayer. He knows what he has out there, but this is what you talk about creating down the field, and look, there he is, Sadell Foster running wide open. That's how you create and extend plays. Looks a little bit like Manziel to Mike Evans, which we've seen 100,000 times over the last 2 years.
Absolutely, and then after the shaky start, he comes in to the TCU game, high stakes, 10-10 in the 4th quarter with less than 4 minutes to go. Webb steps in, composed, makes this pass to Bradley Marquez to go up 17-10 and ultimately take the win over the Horned Frogs.
And that's the moment right there where I think he started to believe that Davis Webb was a legit big-time quarterback with one heck of a future for the Red Raiders.
Absolutely, and then games go on. He's not perfect, which, I mean, you would like for them to be, but you like to see guys make mistakes and then learn from them and grow on. You see him with his fumble right here on the 1-yard line. That just one he would like to have back, obviously, but I think that this shows him he needs to have ball security, absolutely, but he built off of that and came back to rally his team back to beat West Virginia on the road.
Yeah, and you don't get down on the kid for being competitive, because right here he's being a warrior. He's trying to make a play.
He wants that touchdown.
Just gets himself in a vulnerable position and gets hit really hard, and that's something Cliff Kingsbury would not like to see anymore, because you want to keep the kid safe and you want to keep the football.
Absolutely, you want to have him healthy, but then it doesn't hurt to have huge guys who can run and make plays for you. That's a big reason why he's getting 400, 300 yards, because he has a wealth of receivers there for him. And then you have Jason Morrow, who will just carry the entire other team on his back to get the extra yardage, as you see in this play.
And it's just, he knows this. He knows that this is a huge security blanket, and if you get the ball in a weapon's hands, good things are going to happen. And most of the time, when you get the ball to Jason Morrow, this is what happens.
Off me.
He punishes other teams, and he has been a huge reason of the success for all of Tech's quarterbacks.
Absolutely. He is a huge target, and he is a huge threat to other teams. They don't know how to guard him, but Tech will take that. Then you look at this play to DeAndre Washington. They haven't been handing it off as much. They've been throwing the screen pass to the running backs a lot, but watch him here. He scrambles, he looks, he knows he has an option, just takes a little short pass to DeAndre, and he does the rest of it. It's amazing how many yards after contact these guys can make.
Go try to do that throw right there. That's a tough one right there. Across your body, have the poise, put it in a place where only your receiver can get to it. That is a heck of an athletic play by Davis Webb.
Absolutely. And then we go to the OU game where they're facing one of the nation's top pass defenses, and Davis Webb just goes all over him, doesn't slow him down one bit. But you see him here, he's going to take the run, and I think Coach Kingsbury really wants him to learn to slide.
Oh, God, you got to get down. Because here's what happens. He's too big of a body. Oh, God. Those are not things that you want to see. And here comes Cliff Kingsbury right down the sideline. Hey,
slide.
Can you please keep yourself in a little bit more medically safe condition? Love the competitiveness, but get a shoulder down or slide. There's no shame in that whatsoever. You'd rather see Davis Webb out there checking touchdown passes than getting hurt on a play like that.
Absolutely. And then we'll have this clip. You've seen his passes before in the season where he's throwing the ball under his receivers. He underthrew Jakeem Grant, where if you get him where he's reaching out in stride, it's a touchdown probably any time because who's going to catch him?
Yeah, easy thing to underthrow a kid who's got that kind of speed, but he has missed him on a couple occasions.
Absolutely. But then you look at this pass once again in the OU game to Eric Ward, right in stride. Eric Ward does have to kind of adjust to it. He goes inside a little bit to catch the ball, but hitting him in stride really helps him gain more yards.
Beautiful lead. A good veteran receiver sees that ball coming, makes a great adjustment, but he put it in one place and one place only where your receiver can get to it, not into the hands of the defensive back. And this was a monstrous play in that game against Oklahoma that kept the Red Raiders alive.
He had the nice pass back there to throw off the defense at first, and then hits Eric Ward right there, and he's off. But then what I like about this most is after the Oklahoma game ends, he gets sacked, he throws an incomplete pass. Coach Kingsbury does not come over at him like, "What are you doing?" Face red like Gary Patterson. "You could have hit this person." No, he walks over and is coaching him off the field because he knows that in order to win the Big 12 title, these guys need to sweep the rest of their conference slate.
And I'm telling you, this is why kids want to play for Texas Tech, Cliff Kingsbury, and the staff. He gets him on the arm, he walks over there and says something kind and gentle to him. That ain't the time to yell at the kid. He kept you in the game against one of the best defenses in the country. That is one hell of an effort by a freshman quarterback. And Kingsbury knows his role is, they know the line not to cross with Cliff, but this is why they play for him, is because he is a great human being and he knows how to handle kids in a respectful manner that also yields success.
Absolutely, and I think we've seen Davis Webb grow in his poise in the pocket and his decision making. He knows to calm down. He has so many options to go to on the outside, and I think it's going to be interesting to see, especially with the increase in opponents that the Red Raiders are going to face now, is how he conducts himself and what more he can do.
Yeah, because the end note is this. We've been looking at and criticized some things here, and we're just, two people on camera. We are not anywhere near what these people are athletically or their knowledge, but here's the key point. You're 7-1, and you've done that with true freshman quarterbacks throughout the entire season. That is a heck of an accomplishment. Both a credit to Kingsbury and his staff, but also those young kids for stepping up and keeping Texas Tech alive. They're right in the thick of a Big 12 title race. That's exactly where they wanted to be, and they've got a big one on Saturday night. And this week, when you ask Cliff Kingsbury during the Monday press conference who's going to be your starting quarterback,
Davis Webb.
Instantaneously Davis Webb, and that's the confidence that he puts in those kids. He believes in them, and they give that effort right back, and hopefully that equates to a good night for the Texas Tech Red Raiders when they face Oklahoma State on Saturday in Norman.
Absolutely.
Or I guess we're still caught up on Norman here, that big win last week.
Here in
As
Lubbock.
I said, my God, my friends and family in Oklahoma are going to kill me for mixing up Oklahoma State's hometown and OU's hometown right there. I'm going to never hear the end of that one. But needless to say, Oklahoma State coming to our friendly Lubbock, or maybe not so friendly inside that stadium, a huge game for Texas Tech.
No, and I think one big thing is that it's great to get these freshmen experience and to have them do so well in it. Both Baker and Davis got Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week this season, and they're freshmen going against top guys. And we've looked at polls and statistics, and only one quarterback is really better than this guy, and it's the Baylor quarterback. But that is key because he is a freshman coming in here and learning this offense and doing it well, and it's going to pay off big time next season.
And hey, they can take care of business the next couple weeks against Oklahoma State and Kansas State. Not an easy task. Then we get to see those two quarterbacks duke it out in Arlington in Jerry World, and that is it's going to be one of the best moments. I think what Texas Tech asked for more tickets because they've gotten rid of all theirs. That is going to be a heck of an environment in Arlington if we can get those two teams there unscathed from this point on.
Absolutely, it'll be big time. But right now, let's see how Davis Webb in particular can lead this team on to good standing in Big 12.
And that starts against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And, of course, we've got a ton of coverage online. Of course, Don versus Twitter and our UMC Health System AJ Media pregame show up right now. Go take a look at that. And, of course, we'll be out there after the game on Saturday for full coverage of Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. But for now, that will wrap up our topics episode. That is Krista Pirtle. I'm Zach Long, and you're on RedRaiders.com.